I mean, you're not going to go wrong with a Disney cruise. But, it's a higher price point, which turns a lot of people off. But, I think you pay for the service.
Welcome, travelers, to Elevated Escapes, a luxury travel podcast hosted by Mike and Kristen Their, a husband and wife team who approach adventures from different perspectives. Mike is all about world-class golf and the best that Disney has to offer, while Kristen's seeking wellness retreats and rich historical and cultural experiences. Together, they're big on high-end cruises, unforgettable destinations, and discovering incredible culinary moments. Join them as they explore the world, one elevated escape at a time. Now, your hosts.
Welcome to episode number 9 of the Elevated Escapes podcast, being recorded in sunny Sarasota, Florida. I'm your host, Mike, joined by my wife and co-host, Kristen. Good evening, Kristen.
Good evening, Michael.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good.
Good.
We just got back from, was this 2 weeks? 3 weeks, 3 weekends out of like the last 4 that I was at Disney?
That sounds about right.
You've only gone twice, though.
It's
So
more
you
than
owe
enough.
me another trip.
I do not. You owe me a trip.
So where did we stay? You can listen to all of this on our one of our other podcasts, WDW Beyond the Gates podcast.
We stayed at the Caribbean Beach Resort.
And that was your first time.
It was.
Okay. What were your first impressions?
It was fine. The resort's nice. The room, it was a good size, but it was nothing special. Could use a little TLC. I'm a little spoiled with my Disney Vacation Club resorts, my deluxe
We saw
accommodations.
And we will actually, I'm getting our YouTube channel rocking. We just published our first room review at the hotel, or what is it? The Barcelona, or the Hilton Diagonal Mar.
Correct.
In Barcelona. So that is up and available on our YouTube channel, and we'll have some Disney resort reviews for you to check out too shortly. So check us out on the Travel with Mike and Kristen on our YouTube channel. But we went to see a couple of big bands, didn't we?
We did. I had to be kind of talked into it a little bit, but this was sort of a belated birthday trip for you.
And you did have to be. We went to go. First band we went to see was Firehouse, and you kind of vaguely remembered them. And then I played you some songs, and they had a few hits.
Yeah.
But you were pleasantly surprised, weren't you?
I was very pleasantly surprised. They still performed really well. They've got a new lead singer. The original singer passed away, unfortunately. This kid who was on American Idol is now fronting the band, and he's pretty young. I think he's only 25 maybe, but he was really good.
Drummer was
a lot of
excellent.
energy. Yeah. Mm-hmm. It was a much, much better show than I thought it was going to be.
Yep, they were excellent. And then I mean, the Holy Grail. I mean, the following night, we went to go see Air Supply. And we had front row seats for Firehouse and second row for Air Supply.
Can you call it the Holy Grail when it's like a soft rock band that your father said he really loves? I mean, like, we're not talking like Zeppelin or Pink Floyd.
I mean, are you beating up on your dad's musical taste? Because I think your dad... Really? No. Like I've always said, if a band is playing at Epcot, they are a solid band. If a band is still playing in front of 82,000 people, they suck, i.e. U2.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, this is where we agree to disagree.
And then who else did I want? Queensryche is going to be there in late May. So
you're not talking me into that one.
You don't want to go see Jet
It's only like 2 songs.
Well, yeah, they're still good though.
Yeah.
So you're pretty much done with the Garden Rock series?
I believe so.
Okay.
I mean, I'd have to look at the rest of the lineup, but
I don't think Depeche Mode is going to be playing there anytime soon.
I would certainly hope not.
And who else are some of your bands that you like?
Well, most of them aren't together anymore, so REM, The Smiths.
I never heard of the Smiths.
Yes, you have.
Are they some weird alternative band? Yep. It just sounds like a weird alternative band, doesn't it? The
How
Smiths?
does the Smiths sound like a weird alternative band?
First of all, it's such a generic last name, like Mr. and Mrs. Smith. So, like, who would name your band the Smiths? Were their last name Smiths?
No,
and they weren't. I knew that. That was, what did they call? What kind of a question? Rhetorical question. Yes, that was a rhetorical question because I knew that they would not be named. Like, only a weird alternative band would name their band the Smiths or the Joneses.
Okay, but you digress.
But I digress. I think that's a good segue to take our first break. What do you think?
Yeah, definitely.
All right. I'm Mike.
And I'm Kristen of Luxury Travel Advisors, a husband and wife team.
Dreaming of your next unforgettable getaway? Let us turn those dreams into reality. From magical Disney vacations and luxury cruises to all-inclusive escapes, world-class golf retreats,
and once-in-a-lifetime adventures, we handle every detail so you can simply enjoy the journey. Personalized service, expert planning, and stress-free travel from start to finish. Your next escape starts here.
Contact us today and let your extraordinary vacations begin. We're back from break, episode 9 of the Elevated Escapes podcast. We're going to continue talking cruising.
Yeah, we wanted to kind of dive a little deeper into the different segments that we spoke about on our podcast from last week about cruise segments and just, kind of give more detail as to which cruise lines fall into which segments. Today, we are going to focus on the mega ships.
Okay.
So what are some of the cruise lines that fall into this category?
We've got Norwegian, we've got Carnival, Disney, Borderline, and
well, the big one. You're forgetting the really big
Caribbean.
One. Correct.
Do you want to start with Royal Caribbean?
Sure, we can start with Royal Caribbean.
Okay. Well, before we get into the specific ships, who are these? Who are the mega ships good for?
They're great for families.
Yeah.
They are good for kind of very active vacationers, people who want that kind of a floating city at sea feeling where you have a ton of options as far as dining and entertainment and onboard stuff.
Yeah, you're going to have tons of activities, lots of variety for dining.
I mean, some of the shows look really amazing, like Broadway caliber shows. Royal Caribbean has a show that's like a Cirque du Soleil almost. So some really impressive entertainment. But for me, it's a little much. But, again, like if you're a couple our age in your early 50s and you have, kids that are in their late teens, early 20s, it's probably going to be a great option for you. Because there's enough to keep them entertained, enough stuff that you guys can do together. And then, things for you to do if you want a little bit of alone time.
I think they're very good. We mentioned families, but even multi-gen, because there's going to be a little bit of everything. The kids are going to have stuff to do. The older adults are going to have stuff to do.
Yeah. Price-wise, they kind of fall mid to premium, depending on, how much you want to do, the size stateroom you want, the kind of deck you want, that sort of thing. So they're not, we don't want you to think mega ship and think budget line because that's not necessarily the case.
No, it definitely isn't. Royal Caribbean, I think they're priced fairly. I think for what you're getting, there's a tremendous value, and they're able to price it relatively fairly because of the number of people that are going to be on those ships. I mean, you're looking at, on some of their newer ships, almost 7,500 people.
Yeah.
Now, we talked briefly about the pros. There are a few cons, and those are what we typically talk about when we're looking at the mega ships. Like the cons, we don't like a ton of people.
Right.
When we stay at different Disney resorts, we like to hide from the crowds and stay at the resorts that don't have a ton of people. So there are going to be a lot of crowds.
Yeah, and that means, if you're a buffet person, you're gonna be waiting, and yeah, there are a ton of options, but there are a ton of options because there are a ton of people. They have to have the people to justify being able to offer that many different things. Um, and so because of that, you get, somewhat less personalized service in certain cases.
No, I've even heard that some of these mega ships are going away from visiting your rooms 2 times a day and doing the
Oh, you only get housekeeping once a day.
that's what I've heard. They're
No more
going away
towel
from
animals.
that. Towel animals, which fortunately were still available on Disney Cruise Line. I don't think Disney Cruise will ever go away from that. They are known for their small personal touches. I can see, it's cost effective to go away, but
Yeah,
I just especially with their latest commercial.
right.
With the towel, I don't think they're good. They're just speaking towel animal. I don't think they can cut that when the thing's still
Yeah,
fresh on TV.
probably not. So I think, when you're on a ship of this size and you have those crowds, you kind of have to plan a little bit more. If there are things on the ship that you really want to do, you kind of have to structure your day to make sure that you can fit everything in on your sea days, or, decide, oh, we don't want to get off the ship and go to the private island. We're going to stay on the ship and try and do some of these things. But we did just see a video that said some of the things on the ship are not available when the ship is in port. So some of the water slides aren't open, that sort of thing. So that's something to keep in mind as well. If this is a segment that you're interested in, a cruise line you're interested in, and I would assume that's going to be the same across all of the different lines.
I think another con that we didn't talk about is with the mega ships, a lot of times you're going to feel nickeled and dimed because they do try to keep costs down. But then they're constantly selling the upgrades, whether it be the internet package, the beverage package,
Right.
all of your excursions.
Well, and, I think in this day and age where everybody's on their phone 24/7, especially if this is a family vacation and you do have teenagers or young adults, or even young kids these days. My niece is 10 and she's got an Apple Watch now. These kids want to be connected. So you're going to want the internet package, or you're going to have some unhappy kids on a very expensive vacation. So, these things add up.
Speaking about children, these mega ships do have a lot to do for kids. They have a lot of the clubs, which are age specific. You have the 0 to X, and then you have your tweens, and then your 16, 17-year-olds. So there are a ton of clubs, ways for your kids to mingle and make new friends. You could drop them off if you want to go have an upgraded dinner at one of
Spa day.
Yep, or a spa day. Yeah, exactly. And they're typically free. I know they're free on Disney Cruise Line. But yeah, it's a good deal, because I know people who have taken their kids and their kids don't even want to be picked up
Right.
when they're being dropped off at some of the kids' places on Disney Cruise Line. So
obviously, like, Royal Caribbean's the one that's kind of in the news a lot right now, just because of the Icon class ships that are the biggest in the world. But Carnival is still very much a player in this space. And Carnival, I think, was a lot of people's introduction to cruising. It was my introduction to cruising, because it has that more budget-friendly price point.
And I think they've really picked up their game. I've heard that their food is fantastic. People have said it's actually a little bit better than Royal Caribbean.
The food?
Yeah.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So I heard their food's fantastic. Um,
They're also good for if you want a shorter cruise. If you
yeah,
just
they
want to
do a
get
lot
like a
of,
quick getaway.
yeah.
Um, like a girls trip or like a friends weekend or something like that. Because it usually tends to be a little bit more of a lively crowd. There's, a little more of a party atmosphere. So good for groups.
Yeah, you're going to see a lot bachelor parties, bachelorette parties, work functions. That's what you went on it with.
Right. But I think even just, like friend groups,
Yeah.
when we were back in our 20s living in Minnesota, it's not inconceivable to think that, there wouldn't have been a group of 10 of us or whatever who said, you know what, let's get the heck out of here in January and go on a cruise.
Absolutely. Yeah, 100%.
So yeah, Carnival's definitely still a player. You still see their ads. They're not getting as much buzz as they did because Royal Caribbean's grabbing so much of the attention right now.
Yeah, they are. Well, they're just so, I hate to use the word iconic, but kids are just so curious. They see what's going on with these Royal Caribbean ships, and they want to be part of the action.
Right. And I think MSC is actually pretty good at this too, but they don't have the same level of buzz.
Yeah, MSC, they're primarily a European ship, and I've heard that a lot of Europeans cruise on them because it's what they know from Spain and Italy. So a lot of the Caribbean cruises that are MSC, you're going to see a lot of Europeans on those ships.
Now, one of the ones that has been around forever, but you don't really hear as much about is Norwegian. I had always heard of Norwegian as kind of like at the upper level of this mega ship category, like maybe a little nicer.
That's what I always thought of as well.
But their vibe is very flexible. It's modern. They have that freestyle cruising tag. So they don't do fixed dining times. They have good entertainment, good nightlife from what I've heard.
Yeah, a good friend of mine messaged me because he was asking, he went on a Norwegian, just he and his wife, and now he's got 2 boys, and I asked him their ages, and I told him that I thought Royal Caribbean would be their best fit just because of the ages of the kids, and there's still things they're in their mid-30s, late 30s. But he just raved about how much he liked Norwegian Cruise Line.
Really?
Yeah, he said there was just a ton for adults to do.
Okay.
So I think Norwegian is going to be a little better for adults, couples and tweens.
Okay.
Where I think Royal Caribbean is best for the younger into tweens.
Okay. That makes sense. And then of course we have Disney. Again, kind of at the I don't want to say more luxury end, but maybe that's a good terminology to use, of the mega ship line. Their ships aren't as huge as some of these other ships are. And they don't have all of the bells and whistles that, the Icon class ships have. But the Disney service is unparalleled. And if you have kids who are into that Disney magic, or if you are, a Disney adult, like some people I know who want their picture taken with Donald Duck.
I'm a Disney kid.
You're not going to go wrong with a Disney cruise. But, it's a higher price point, which turns a lot of people off. But, I think you pay for the service.
Yeah, you're getting hands down the best service for a larger cruise line. I like the fact that they don't have an alcoholic drink package, but your drinks are included, whether it be soft drinks, coffee, tea, hot chocolate. I like the fact we've mentioned before that they don't have casinos. I have nothing against gambling. I just don't I just like to stay away from the smoke.
Right.
And
the noise for me.
Yeah. It's just not, and I worked at a casino when I was in college, and it totally turned me off. So I like the fact that there are no casinos on board DCL.
Yeah, so definitely something to think about. If you have like the little kids who want that princess experience, that's going to be a fantastic option. But if you're doing a multi-generational trip and grandpa wants to be in the casino, it's maybe not the right cruise line
Grandpa
for
wants
you.
to smoke some unfiltered heaters in the casino. I would have to say, I think Disney does have the best kids clubs.
I mean, from what I've seen, they're pretty amazing. It's hard for us to really
because we
offer an educated opinion because we don't have kids who have experienced it.
True.
But yeah, I've heard very good things.
The dining's fantastic.
The dining's excellent. Yes.
They do rotational dining, which we've probably mentioned, but if you're just new to the podcast, welcome. We appreciate you. But they do what's called rotational dining. So on night number one, and they have two seatings. I believe it's 5:30 and 8:15 or somewhere around there. So you're going to sit with a group, and you are going to eat with them every night, and it's going to rotate. So you're going to go to restaurant A, and then the next day is restaurant B, and then the next night is restaurant C. And then depending on how many nights you're on board, you'll just repeat that, and you will have the same wait staff that follows you around, which is fantastic because by the second night, they're going to know that you want a Diet Coke or you want a Coke Zero, or that you don't like what don't you like in your dishes? Peppers and what else?
Fennel.
Fennel. So they're going to know all that.
They're going to bring lemon for your water if that's your thing.
Yep, water with lemon. So you're going to have your lemon with your water. So I think I like it. It's a great concept. I like the fact that you do get to know your friends.
But if that's not your thing, you can absolutely
request a two-top. Yep.
Or if you're at a table and for whatever reason you don't get along with the people you're seated with.
Which I'm surprised that the six people stuck with me.
Why? You're fun.
Am I?
Yeah, you can behave yourself in public.
I do behave in public. Inside, all bets are off when it's just the two of us.
True. So what do you think? Anything else that we want to touch base on?
Out of the four, well, you've already done Disney Cruise Line. So out of the other three, which one intrigues you the most? Which one would you want to set sail on?
Probably Norwegian.
I agree.
Again, I just think it's maybe a little less crowded than some of the other lines. But I think for a lot of people, this is what they want in a cruise. It's a family vacation. They want everybody to be entertained. They want to have a good time. A lot of people want that feeling of going to a big city. So it's like, I can get that Vegas experience with the shows and the restaurants, but I'm also, on a ship visiting these different ports and different areas. So it's kind of the best of both worlds.
And the other option too that you may have, if you think Royal Caribbean's too much, if you think it's just a huge shopping mall in the middle of the sea, look into their legacy ships, because some of their smaller ships, the 4,000 to 5,000 people, it's not going to be quite as big. You're still going to have a lot of the amenities, but it's not going to be as overwhelming as an Icon might be. So keep that in mind.
Yeah, that's a good tip. And I would say that, some of these ships do have that kind of ship within a ship.
Like an MSC, like your yacht club at MSC.
Right.
Yep.
So you do have some dedicated space where you can get away from the crowds a little bit. So that is an option if you're willing to spend a little bit more to have a little bit of an oasis.
And price-wise, it's not terrible. You're going to get your own butler.
On all of them?
In the yacht club. I know in the MSC Yacht Club,
Okay.
you have a dedicated butler. Your private hot tub and pool, bar, restaurant. So price wise, it's not that bad.
So,
do you have any parting thoughts, Susie?
No, I would just say let us know, if you've done a cruise on a mega ship, if you're thinking about a cruise on a mega ship, and what your thoughts are. If you have questions for us or feedback for us, because we are here to help.
All right. I got nothing else. We'll probably I'll wrap things up here in a second. We're going to continue talking about cruising probably next week.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe jump over to luxury.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Sounds like a plan.
All right. Sounds good. All right, to wrap us up, find us on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube, Travel with Mike and Kristen. All of our social media links will be in the show notes, and join our Facebook group, Travel with Mike and Kristen. For my co-host, Kristen, I'm Mike. Thanks for listening. We'll talk again soon.
Good night.